Welcome to season two, episode two, Shane Talk 2, Troy Myers. Troy, it's been 7 months, bro. How have you been?
Uh, Living the dream, man.
Listen, bro, it's great to be back on here and talking with you again, man. I've missed you.
I missed you as well.
See, that's all I wanted you to say. I was just waiting for you to say it. So we are doing episode two of Shane Talks 2, season two. We are going to talk about the. Okay, so well, before we talk, I mean, everybody knows the movie, but when I first started reaching out to people about season two and getting their interest and seeing who wanted to be a part of it, I played a little game with everybody in my mind. Like nobody knew I played this game, but the game I played was what movie do I think they're going to pick to want to talk about? And I assumed it was going to be one movie. And you came back and told me you originally wanted to talk about Moneyball. Threw me for a complete loop. Not the movie I was expecting you to want to talk about. So I wrote us an entire script to talk about the movie Moneyball. Sent you the script. And what'd you tell me? Nah, man, I think I want to talk about Dazed and Confused, which was the movie that I always expected you to pick. It is the Criterion Collection Spine number 336. And it is, I would say, like you've probably been on the podcast 37 times, I think it was, or something like that. I'm pretty sure all 37 times you mentioned Dazed and Confused at some point
In
on
a
every
row?
episode that you were on in a row. Um, but anyway, we are here to talk about Dazed and Confused, the movie that I know you love very much. And so, well, first up, Dazed and Confused was released on September 24th of 1993, which apparently is kind of an important time as far as your brain goes with movies, because Moneyball was released on September 23rd, 2011. So the two movies that you picked to want to talk about both had September 20th release dates. So I found that to be very interesting. But my first question for you is Dazed and Confused your favorite film of all time?
Ooh. Um, when I watch it, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like that's like a ridiculous thing to say. Like, you know.
So,
Um, Lots of
so
films are
if
my
Dazed
favorite
and
film of all
Confused
time.
isn't your favorite film of all time, what would you call your favorite film of all time?
Oh man, like it depends on the day. What am I watching? No, like I keep like a I think I like to keep like a toolkit of like favorite films.
Okay.
Depending on where my mood takes me, like um, Moneyball is one of my favorite films.
Okay.
Uh, Days Confused is one of my favorite films. I think it's the film everybody thinks is my favorite film because I talk about it so much. But it's honestly it's not even on my letterbox four.
Oh,
So
okay.
I I clearly wasn't thinking about it when I filled that out. So I don't know, man.
Well, tell me what your letterbox score is then. Give me
Uh,
that list.
my letterbox four is A Woman is a Woman, um, The Virgin Suicides,
Oh, great movie.
Moneyball,
Oh, okay.
and the other one.
Cool. Well, interesting. That's a list that I would not again, I would have put Days and Confused on there.
Yeah, no, Metropolitan is uh,
Metropolitan.
is the
Oh, I don't
fourth.
know that. Huh. Right, right on. Very cool. Very cool. So, what was it that after I sent you the Moneyball script that made you decide you wanted to switch back, or not switch back, but switch to talk about Dazed and Confused? If it's not your favorite film, is it just because you know you can talk a lot about Dazed and Confused?
There was like a lot of like laziness that came into play. Um, I was finding it really difficult to find a copy of or to be able to stream Moneyball for like
Oh,
no dinero. Um, and so I could not. You can't justify paying for Moneyball because that kind of defeats the purpose. Um, and
okay.
so yeah, it just kind of was one of those things. I hadn't watched it in a year. I wanted to be fresh. Um, Oddly enough, I've watched Days and Confused in the last like maybe like 8 months, but I don't ever need to watch that movie to be able to talk about that movie.
I
Um,
assume not.
so yeah, no, it was a marriage of convenience.
So, can you remember, can you go back to the early mid 90s and tell me, do you remember the first time you ever saw Dazed and Confused, where you were with theater? Was it a home video watch for you? Like, tell me the story about the first time you ever saw Dazed and Confused.
I I want to say a sophomore in high school. So it would have been like maybe like the fall of 1995,
Right?
let's say. Maybe 1990. Yeah, the fall of 1995. Let's say that. And I was one of those people that like I knew exactly the number of days I could miss in a semester before like it started becoming like a like we need to like give you extra homework or we need to like talk about truancy or whatever. And so like I just would kind of like take days a lot. And so I just taken a day off of school, um, watching movies that I had gotten from Blockbuster, and I just got Dazed and Confused, and I was just immediately hooked. I was just like, oh wow, that's the high school experience that like I need to be having. Um, and so yeah, that was it.
Right on,
Truancy.
very cool. Do you, over the course of the last 30-ish years, have you ever shown this film to somebody for the first time?
Oh, I'm sure I have,
Okay.
and
Do
probably
you
like
have any,
multiple times. Yeah, dude.
do you have any
I mean,
stories
this
you remember about anybody?
not particularly. Like, I mean, this was just like such a like a fucking like this movie like kind of in its heyday, I guess. On like its home video heyday was it was almost kind of like an endurance trial for it was like a power hour esque experience if you
Okay.
wanted to like get into it, you know. Um, and so like yeah, um, it was constantly just kind of like, oh, you've never seen that? All right, man, let's see this. And then you would smoke a bunch of weed and you would you know uh, live tasting and views, bro.
Very awesome. I do. This movie holds a special place in my heart simply for the fact that I remember exactly when and where I saw it for the first time because I was working at Clearwater in 1999. We did what was called Gen X Film Festival in like March and April, and we showed a whole bunch of like these kind of movies that like Clerks, Small Rats Chasing Amy. Like I saw all of those for the first time in '99. Like uh, then there was like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction was one weekend, and The Crow and Train Spotting was one weekend. So like a lot of these movies, because like I got very much into movies late in the '90s. Like I always like liked movies when I was younger, but I played sports a lot, so I didn't make a lot of time for movies. So like '99 is like the year where I dedicated my love and life, like my love of movies in 1999. So I know for a fact that Dazed and Confused played on May 1st of 1999 at Clearwater as part of the Gen X Film Festival, which means I should have watched it like April 29th, like that Wednesday before could have been like the night that I watched it at the employee screening and whatnot. And so like I remember sitting in the movie theater. I remember it being a great experience. I remember being like, I love everything about this movie. It has a cast that I love. We'll start talking about them in a little bit, but like everything about this movie. And like you said it a few minutes ago, like that was the high school experience that you wanted. And like I very much feel the same way about like just that high school. I mean, it's way different from what I experienced in high school, but it's definitely an amazing like it's an amazing like coming of age like high school movie.
Yeah, Mike Scott and I actually went to that May 1st,
Did you?
1999 screening at the Clearwater.
Oh, that's awesome. Shout out
Yeah,
to Mike Scott. What a great dude. He was awesome.
that was probably
Um,
like my 1000th time seeing that movie at that point. Like, but yeah,
so first things first, before we start talking about the movie itself, let's talk about like what everybody's first experience like, with Mallrats in theory would have been, which would have been the movie poster for it. Like when you went to the movies before it got released, like there would be this poster for Mallrat or not Mallrats, sorry, for Dazed and Confused in like the movie theater lobby. And
I
it's
mean, we
got
can
like
talk about Snoochie Boochies if you want to, bro. Like,
I apologize. Like I said, man, all those movies just kind of like wrapped up together in my 1999 brain.
nah,
So
man, who's your favorite new kid? Call me Donnie.
call me Joey.
Call me Joey.
Anyway, and I mean, like, there's a lot of cast crossover that we'll talk about at some point here in a little bit. But like, so the Dazed and Confused poster was like four of the cast members just like throwing up their hands and stuff. And like, do you like the poster? Do you care about the poster?
Honestly, like, I don't know that like I ever would have seen the poster.
Okay,
You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think my first interaction with that movie was the video box, probably, which probably was just the poster. Um,
or something
but
similar.
no, like I've never really been like super big into like hippie imagery and shit like
Okay.
that. Like, which is odd because like this is a movie that like I'm just like really gung ho about. But like like I just
So that day at Blockbuster, when you were wandering through Blockbuster, what made you look at the box art for Dazed and Confused and say, I want to get this movie today?
um
You
man, that's a
remember?
really good question, dude. I think by that point it had just kind of like become like this kind of like word of mouth thing. Like like I was in early on like the Mallrats, Clerks,
Nice.
like I saw Chasing Amy the day it opened. Um at Clearwater. I saw Mallrats in the theater. Well, I was like one of
Nice.
like the nine people who saw that. Um, but and so like like I was kind of like hip to this because I was just like, oh, there's all these people. Like I was like, oh, Parker Posey's in this movie, and like fucking, um, like the young Ben Affleck was in this movie, and just like like just hot people all the way down the list of people that were like other movies that I was watching at the time.
So let's jump into actually talking about the movie itself for a minute, or well, like the pieces of the movie, I'll say. This film was written and directed by Richard Linklater. I know that you overall are a big Linklater fan. Do you think this is his best film? And throwing out some of his other movies, that would be Slacker, all three of the Before movies, The Newton Boys, School of Rock, Waking Life, Scanner Darkly, like out of all of these movies, and I think those are all great movies that I just listed, do you think Dazed and Confused is his best film he's ever made?
Man, like fuck, how do you answer that with somebody who's made like films in so many like
Different
different like
genres.
yeah, like I'm not here to compare Dazed and Confused with like Before Sunrise. Like get the fuck out of my face. Like, and I'm not gonna compare that with Boyhood. Like
Oh
you
yeah,
but
Boyhood,
then,
yeah.
but then again the troll in me wants to be like, no, it's not his best movie. And just be like, everybody wants some is, and then just like move on.
Oh, shit. Forgot
but
about Everybody Wants Some. Okay, yep.
But but no, man, this isn't like I don't know if it's his best movie, man. I'm not the fucking person to decide that. But is it my favorite Richard Linklater movie? Yeah,
All
yep.
right, that's very
It's the
fair.
one that I've seen. Like like I'm trying to think. Okay, other than the three before sunrise, before sunset, before midnight, and everybody wants some. I have never watched another Richard Linklater movie twice.
Really? Okay,
I mean, Boyhood is like really long.
sure.
That's like an intense watch.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know that I've ever watched another one twice.
Okay. So do you think any of the Before movies are better films
Oh, I'm sure they
than?
are.
Okay.
I'm sure they are, but like I'm not. You won't catch me fucking saying that in the streets. Like Dazed and Confused, like Ride or Die, bro. Like it's like nah, there's no two ways around it. Like it's fine. Yeah, it's his best movie
It's
by like a
very,
hundred
very
thousand fucking times.
right on. So when I wrote the script for this, I tried to do a lot of it just as what was going on in my head and what I was thinking about. And so when I wrote the script for this, I wrote in here that I considered Matthew McConaughey's Wooderson to be the lead actor of this movie. And then a couple of days ago, to prepare for recording, I rewatched the movie. I always forget it takes 41 minutes for him to appear in this film.
Yeah, man. Uh,
So I don't know if I can consider him the lead actor. He's probably the biggest name actor in the entire, well, one of the biggest name actors in it. But like, I guess Jason London's the lead in this movie. Like, who would you call the lead actor of Dazed and like that? I mean, that's the other thing. Like, there are so many different storylines going on. Was there anybody you could really call the lead actor in this movie?
uh, the lead actors in kind of like order of importance
Mhm.
to this movie are marijuana, beer, and Texas.
Okay. Right. So the ambiance of the side characters is the lead actor in this film.
I mean, you could say that like I guess the whole movie technically revolves around like doing what Randall Pink Floyd wants to do.
Sure.
Like, um, but that's just such kind of like a device to just keep moving things forward.
Sure.
Um, like,
Like
no,
I can't even think of another
this movie
Jason
is just kind of
London
about
film.
like there is no like traditional like lead actor or actress in this
There's
movie. It's not like a traditional vibe. That's what makes it so great.
it is a huge ensemble, and it's essentially like it's so cool because it's like it was just a couple of years before Can't Hardly Wait, but it is very much like Can't Hardly Wait set 20 years earlier and just more about drugs and beer than the party itself. But like when I was watching it recently, every time I watch it, I just really am like, this is very much like Can't Hardly Wait for me, just the 70s generation instead of my generation.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I feel like there were kind of like a slew of movies that kind of tried to recreate like the Dazed and Confused like feel in the aftermath of Dazed and Confused. Um, but then again, like Dazed and Confused didn't really like didn't invent that either. You know, like if anything, you could say that Dazed and Confused was just kind of like an Altman esque like teen comedy. Um,
Okay.
you know, it kind of took like the basic structure of like a movie like Nashville or something like that, and just kind of was just like, here you go. It's just about kids in Texas. Last
So
day of high school, 76, baby.
because I had to consider Matthew McConaughey the lead actor, the biggest named actor I think that has come from this movie. Do you think this is his best film, or would you consider things like A Time to Kill, The Wedding Planner, Failure to Launch, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Magic Mike, any of those better than this movie, or is this Matthew McConaughey's best performance ever?
I mean, dude, that's not even a fair question with Matthew McConaughey because man, you could argue he's been given this performance for fucking 30 years now. Like,
Sure.
I mean, that guy doesn't seem to change. Like he rules, dude. Recently, okay, like talking about Matthew McConaughey,
Let's
and
do it.
I want to circle back to the idea that you think that Matthew McConaughey is a bigger named actor than Ben Affleck,
We'll
who
get
is
to
also in this
that.
movie.
He is.
But
We'll
anyway,
But I don't want
I
my
think
love for Ben to like try to like to make me think. I don't want me saying that, and that's why I was kind of towing the line a minute ago. Like,
I
yes,
mean
I
it's
love
fine. I
Ben.
agree. I agree,
I
man.
love
Everybody
Ben
loves
Affleck
Matthew
very
McConaughey.
much.
He's way more famous.
You
Um,
think? So?
and he's way better. Yeah, he's just a great guy.
Okay,
But anyway,
yeah, yeah.
so recently it was a very important anniversary in the history of this country. It was the 20th anniversary of January 5th, the also known as the Vince Young game. And so one of the things I remember about this game is I watched it live, and there was in the build up to the game in the pregame there was a bit with Will Ferrell, who was like a USC honk, and then Matthew McConaughey, who was obviously like hook 'em horns. Uh, and the thing is, I don't think that Matthew McConaughey has acted like a day in his life. Like, given I've never seen any of his like if I don't think he's gonna be McConaughey, I'm not gonna go. Like I didn't see the movie where he won the Oscar for or whatever, and I was just like, this is Like to me, that will always be a career achievement Oscar. But I love the guy. I really enjoy the Ghost of Girlfriend's Past.
Okay.
Like it's
Was
complete
it
trash
Dallas
movie.
Buyers Club? Is that the one you're talking about? Was that the one you
Yeah,
want
I
to watch?
believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
I'm I'm not trying to watch that shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So yeah, McConaughey, man, like been the same for fucking 30 years.
I
Love
look
that
forward
guy.
to it.
Rock solid. He's not the star of this movie though.
Okay, okay. Fair enough.
Nobody's the star. Nobody's star of this
Um,
movie, man. Maybe the freshman,
in
Wiley Wiggins.
we'll get there. In my brain, just trying to think of possible lead actresses in this movie. I was trying to think of the actress that I thought of the most, which ended up just being Marissa Ribisi. Um, I just don't know
Alfred
because I mean
Pamela?
Joey Lauren Adams has hardly any screen time in this. Mila Jovovich, maybe, but I don't know.
Man,
And
pound for
Posey,
pound,
yeah,
Marissa
Posey barely
Ribisi
has any
probably
screen
has the most lines.
time.
Um,
Who do you say?
honestly, like I would say that girl Sabrina, who ends up like hooking up with Anthony Rapp's character.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, okay,
like that girl has like a lot of screen time.
okay. I do not
Yeah,
remember
no, I
that
mean,
actress's name.
dude, like that's the great part about this movie is like they don't dwell on anybody. They kind of leave things like like I think okay, so like one of the things about this movie is like I think like he was dealing with a lot of people who like even people who became famous actors like weren't good actors at this
Hmm.
point. Like a lot of people weren't good in this movie. And so like what he had to do was like just kind of like cut things down and basically
Hmm.
just be like, you know what? Like we're going to like let Jason London say less so that he looks deeper. And so like
Okay,
they leave like the audience to like infer a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they leave like a lot of things like there's not like a heavy dialogue to it, which is weird
no,
because you remember it as a movie full of like zinger lines and stuff like that, but like there's not a lot of like explanation that goes on to things. It's just kind of like, hey man, you like that girl? All right, man, go talk to her. Blah blah blah. That's it. Nothing deeper than
yeah.
that. It's just like surface level dialogue.
So you mentioning that not everybody had the greatest performance, and this makes sense because both Matthew McConaughey and Marissa Ribisi, this was the first movie they ever did. It was also Joey Lauren Adams' first movie she ever did, and Renee Zellweger's first ever screen credit. So like there were a lot of people that had no other screen credits other than this movie.
No, I didn't say that the performances were bad. I think Linkletter got great performances out of
Oh,
like people who were not good actors.
or
Let's put it
not.
that way.
Oh, okay. Okay. Apologies. Okay. I didn't. Yeah. Well,
Like
so it explains why they weren't good actors at this point for it being their first, time being on set.
I mean, I think they pulled Wiley Wiggins, the freshman, like Mitch Kramer, like literally off the fucking street.
Interesting. It'd be interesting to know about how the casting stuff went for this because I mean, like, there is looking at this list now, there is an insane list of people that were in this movie. Like we have mentioned Ben Affleck. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Parker Posey is in this movie. Mila Jovovich I mentioned. You mentioned Anthony Rapp. Uh, Rory Cochrane is the one that I want to talk about because Rory Cochrane has two roles that I remember him from. I don't know any other movies that this dude has done, but what he was able to do going from this movie and being mega stoner, like stoned out of his mind character, to being the like straight edge, like dry humor that he is in Empire Records. Like that dude is an amazing actor for those two roles, but like by itself. Like I love that dude as an actor just because of those two roles.
No,
Um,
I think it's wild that like two of my better friends in life look like characters in this movie. Um, Ryan Michael looks like a fucking Slater son. Um, and then I always thought Mike
okay.
Scott looked like a Sasha Jensen, the uh fuck. You know who I'm talking about. Randall Pink Floyd's best friend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Premature ejaculation. What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I
Uh
don't remember his name, but I know I can see him now.
Yeah. You can see him now. He's got the most
Yes,
expressive face. Uh,
yes. Mike Scott. Okay, interesting. I can see that for sure.
yeah. But anyway, Roy Cochran in this movie, what he does is fucking incredible. Like,
Absolutely,
um,
man.
I think like I don't know because of when I grew up, right? I don't know if like Rory Cochrane like actually like I don't know if he created like the stoner template or
Okay.
if like he was just kind of like mimicking it. Um but all I knew is that like after Dazed and Confused, there were so many people in the world over the next like 10 years that just took on that fucking vibe and that like
Absolutely.
persona like down to a T. It was wild. Ryan Michael wasn't one of those. He just happens to look like the guy.
Yep, I feel you on that for sure. But yeah, no,
Largely
that's
straight I think.
I love him in both of those movies, and like I think it shows an amazing range of acting that he can do to go from being like freaked out and like talking just like high as shit, man, to like just like how straight and like just monotone and like chill he is in Empire Records. Like amazing acting in both of those films by that guy. Like a huge fan. Nikki Cat and Cole Hauser are also in this flick. Like, what a stacked cast! That just like you said, I mean, like, there's no real plot. It just kind of jumps around to all of these different characters and what's going on in their lives over the course of one day. Like the last day of school in 1976,
Last day of school,
incoming
man.
incoming seniors, like incoming freshmen, like it's an amazing cast. And like I said, I didn't want to kiss Ben Affleck's ass like I normally do, like knowing that he also doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie, and he's really
He's pretty fantastic in what he has.
he is, man. He is. So there's a quote that we're going to get to here in a little bit. Let me jump ahead to it real quick. He Ben Affleck once made a comment about how um, he doesn't think that this movie was very good for his career because he said this movie didn't do anything for me. I was the only unlikable character in a movie that's full of likable characters, and I was completely forgotten. Like, do you feel like that's true? Like, do you think he's the only unlikable character in the whole movie?
Yeah, maybe.
You think so?
But who gives a shit? Like, dude, he's so great. Like,
You get
I
the
don't think
shotgun
anybody
pulled on him?
like nobody fucking cares. Like I wish these people would get over this idea that like, oh, this is bad for my image, or if I don't play like some fucking like ask fucking whatever London brother it was how that worked out for him. Like,
Sure.
you think he would have rather just played O'Bannon and had a fucking career like Ben Affleck afterwards? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, Ben Affleck missed a golden opportunity. That guy could have been like the biggest dick in movies for like 50 years. And I think people would have just been like, yeah, dude, fucking that guy. I hate that guy, but we go to hate that fucking guy. Yeah, no, like one of the greatest opening lines in the fucking history of movies is like when he screeches up and like gets out of his car, he's like, "Y'all ready to bust some ass?" I'm like, carrying
He's
a
got his
big ass
paddle in his
paddle.
hand.
Like, what an asshole! What a
You know?
fucking like, what a piece of trash redneck asshole! Like, but yeah, no, he's like memorable as shit.
You think so? Okay, that's good to hear. I'm glad you disagree with Ben. But yeah, it was when I read that
Whatever.
quote, I was like, that's
Like,
kind of
what
interesting
does
for
he
him to
think?
feel
What
that
does
way.
he think he should have done? Like another fucking Daredevil movie? Like, get the fuck out of here, clown. Go get another
Out of
Duncan.
out of all of the names that we discussed in this cast, like, is there any one specific? Like, obviously, you just mentioned Ben, but like any of the other people, is there any of the characters acting wise that really stood out to you in this movie? I know you said that he got bad actors to do good performances. Do you think there was any just like good actors doing good performances?
I don't necessarily know that it like. I don't know that it's like performance based at this point. Like, I don't even think of it like I don't like. I don't even really think of these people as actors anymore. Like I've seen this movie so many times. Like You know what I mean? Like it just you are fucking. The freshman is the freshman. Fucking. Parker Posey's Parker Posey in the movie. Like, these people are
Now
just
that we're
fucking.
talking about this, like Parker Posey was kind of like a raging bitch in this movie. Like Ben Affleck to say that like he was the only unlikable character. Like, I think I don't like Parker Posey's character in this movie.
Yeah, she's really funny.
He is really funny, but she is a raging bitch.
Oh yeah, she's a total jerk, man. Darla.
Yeah,
It's
Darla.
fucking
Yeah,
Darla. Shitty fucking name. Sorry, Darlas out there.
yeah. Not so just any performances from anybody in this movie that stands out to you where you're like, I really like this person.
Um, I always love Adam Goldberg. I think he's
Okay.
really going for it. Um, I like I think Nicky Cat's great for his like
He's
one
another
scene
asshole
essentially.
character in the movie. Like, there's no reason for him to be like, he's just a jerk for no reason.
And fuck man, uh Don, 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 Don. That's fucking Pink's friend. The kid that's wearing
Okay.
overalls. That's like just like the fucking pussy hound. All he thinks about. I love that kid. I can't believe that kid didn't become like a bigger star. He was great in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. He
Okay.
was great in this. Yeah, some things I just don't understand, man. That kid was awesome. Like
Uh,
how how he didn't become like a Pauly Shore-esque character for at least like a couple of fucking movies, I will never understand. Weird.
understandable. Well, and like thinking about that guy, like Rory Cochran's character was like the over the top stoner, and I feel like he was just like the chill stoner. Like he was just like, I'm gonna like say some funny stuff, and I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna kind of be a little bit loopy and out of it, like, but
I
wasn't
don't
as
even
over.
I don't even think of him as like a I think he's like a stoner by like proxy
Okay,
in a weird way.
okay,
Like I think he's more just kind of in it for like mischief.
okay.
Yeah, if that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He gives that whole speech uh to fucking Pink where he's just like, "Hey man, like, why do we play football anyway? It's like just for girls. It's like, could we just do this if we were like in a band, like, like all that shit?" And it's just like, like that's really like he does whatever essentially puts him in the vicinity of like girls,
Okay.
and like so it's like nice to have like that single-minded high schoolness. Um, really pops through. I love it.
Nice. All right, man. Moving on from the cast now. Let's talk about the look of the film. Is there a specific shot or a specific scene that always stands out? Like your favorite shot of the movie, or your favorite scene in the movie, or like what when somebody just says the words "dazed and confused," like what's the first thing that comes to your mind as far as the movie goes, or like visually, like what is it for you?
Oh man, I feel like that's like I feel like I want to answer that like two different ways.
Give me both
Um,
answers.
for one, just the most personal is it's probably like my favorite thing in any movie ever. I don't necessarily know that it's like whatever. But it's the part where Matthew McConaughey is talking about like he's giving his whole spiel about like high school girls and they stay the same age and shit like that. But like it's the shot that like they're lined up against this wall. There's like four or five of them standing there, and Matthew McConaughey's like obviously commanding all the attention, and like they're lined up, and there's like behind them is like these pool balls that spell out the word the Emporium, which is the place that they're
Yeah.
hanging out at, right? And so they're lined up against these pool balls, and like Randall Pink Floyd is just sitting there with like white pants, this like fucking lavender shirt that's like fucking like, you know, undone to like here because he's like fucking basically like Steven Tyler, um, or like Freddie Mercury or one of these fucking like 70s dudes. And like he's got this like obnoxious belt buckle. And while like Matthew McConaughey is like over here, like doing his thing, like no 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 no, Randall Pink Floyd's just here chilling out. He takes the belt buckle off, he brings it up, and he lights it. So the belt buckle in its huge gregariousness. On the backside of it is also a contraption for smoking marijuana. And he just fucking cool as day, puts it back, exhales, nothing ever happens. It's the fucking coolest thing in the fucking movie, man. It's so dope. It's so like attention to detail because like one of the things about this movie is like it really does like create this like fucking tremendous sense of like community. Um, and what I mean by that is like you really get the sense that this is like a small town, and all these people ostensibly like are connected to each other and know each other on some level.
Yep.
Um, and one of the ways that they do this is like these really like like in that shot, right? They create this sense of community, and that like if you watch this in a movie that is like kind of like your star driven vehicle, like you're like fucking your typical rom com, I guess, or something like that. Matthew McConaughey will be in that scene, but he will be the only one actually acting. Everybody else will be static, or they'll be like, but like Richard Linklater is like, nah, fuck that. Like, that's not the way these things go. If you're standing around at a party and there's like six people around, like three of these people aren't even really listening to the conversation that's going on. They're doing their own thing. They're looking around to see who's over here that they need to talk to. They're fucking drinking their beer. They're fucking hitting their little thing. And it's like this idea that like it like creates this like whole life organically in like all these little like intricate details and intricate shots in the movie that like it really makes you believe that you're like existing within this like you're seeing something like really like within the snow globe of this like community. But to answer that question just on like a pure like, oh, this
Hold
like
on,
always
hold
hits a
on.
visceral.
Before you give us the second half, I just want to address the fact that you brought that to my attention probably after I'd seen the movie two or three times. Like when you and I first started getting closer, like in the early 2000s, 2001 or whatever, you literally made a comment about the belt buckle pipe. And I was like, what are you talking about? And you're like, yeah, this
Yeah,
scene. And when you described it the way you just did. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all in that scene. Like
yeah,
I was oblivious. I didn't pay, I was paying too much attention to Matthew McConaughey, and so that's literally something that I can never not see now because of you making me aware of that going on in the background. So I really think that's a really cool part of the movie for all the reasons you just explained. Second
no,
half of
man.
your question, all right, second half of your answer.
The second half of my answer, just like a thing that is beautiful that elicits like a visceral response for me, is it I can't remember if it's the first shot or the second shot, but it's you see like the guy pumping the keg and he just like dumps the beer because the keg is out. And you hear like the first opening notes of Tuesday's Gone by Leonard Skinner. And then it cuts to that like kind of like overhead shot of the moon tower and like the party just kind of like breaking up. And that is beautiful. Like it's always like it's one of those things that like if I would take that to a desert island. You know what I mean? Like I would like that is one of those things that I think like when like when you die and they say that like you relive your whole life or you see like these things like I will see that shot somewhere in the like death montage before I bite it like because of just how much it like affects me and how beautiful it is. But yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so a minute ago you started making some mention of music, so let's jump into the music portion here. Number one, I love 90s soundtracks. 90s soundtracks are better than anything else. Like they capture music, like whatever was going on with soundtracks in the 90s were absolutely amazing. This is one of them. And this is one of them that grabs music. Like a lot of the 90s soundtracks that I love was because it's a lot of the 90s music that I associate with that time period. But this one, all 70s music, all period, what the movie is supposed to be, and still does an amazing job putting together music like Foghat, Alice Cooper. The Schools Out is used absolutely perfect in this movie. Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. There's Kiss, The Runaways. You mentioned Leonard Skinner earlier. War, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, ZZ Top. Like all amazing 70s bands put all together onto one album. Is there any song that pairs well. Like I said, I love how they use schools out in the movie, the scene when they're all leaving school. Is there anything for you that like the music just hits right the way it's used in this movie?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I just mentioned Tuesday's Gone,
Yeah.
which is like, Freebird aside, whatever, man. That's the best Leonard Skinner song by like a whole country mile. Um, Tuesday's Gone is fucking used incredibly. I really love, not necessarily like how, like I love the way they use Sweet Emotion. 'Cause they use the long build version where like cars are like slowly rolling around to the like boing, like the little like the kind of like noodly guitar things at the beginning
Okay.
before Steven Tyler even comes on, and then like it pulls into the fucking, and it's like sweet like, oh, fucking dope, like editing down to like a 1,000. um and then I really like the Bob Dylan, like the hurricane drop, when they go into the Emporium, and like you just see Matthew McConaughey, and
Oh,
like he's just like, y'all are an embarrassment to the sport of pool. You should be, you know,
I forgot there
uh,
was Bob Dylan there.
yeah, it's the kind of like Martin Scorsese shot, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
where they just like enter into the thing, and like it just kind of like whips around, and like, and it's to like the fucking hurricane, which is like a great Bob Dylan song. Shit.
Yeah.
Um, and I honestly think that might have been the first time I ever heard that song was in that movie. And like, yeah, just fucking dynamite. Yeah,
Very
the
awesome.
use of music in that movie is fucking incredible.
It absolutely is. Without a doubt. It has a great soundtrack. All the songs that are on the soundtrack and used in the movie are just great. It's nostalgic for a time period where I wasn't even alive, but like it's nostalgic in a way that makes me, feel like I was, not like I feel like I was there, but like it transports me back there emotionally by using the songs the way that it does. So there is a rumor, and I think this makes a lot of sense. Because once upon a time, you came on a podcast to talk about John Hughes movies with Jason and I. And I thought you were coming on to talk about how great John Hughes is. And you
Generally not.
bamboozled me, and you came on and you basically shit all over John Hughes and talked about how much you did not enjoy John Hughes movies. Apparently, Richard Linklater once upon a time said his concept with this movie was to make an anti John Hughes movie. Do you think that's why you love this movie so much, or do you think that this movie is what turned you into an anti John Hughes person?
Ooh, wow, that's like a chicken and egg fucking concept, man. That's really
I'm sorry,
deep.
I'm sorry. The exact quote was an inverse John Hughes movie, not an anti John Hughes movie, an inverse John Hughes movie.
Uh, yeah, maybe that's kind of why. Yeah, okay, so like, okay, um, let's just think about this in like let's make the obvious parallel to a John Hughes movie, and like let's just say it's like his answer to The Breakfast Club, right? Which is seemingly the most obvious parallel to this thing. Um, Man, The Breakfast Club fucking sucks, dude. Like, like I cannot tell you how much I fucking hate The Breakfast Club. And the thing about The Breakfast Club is like all this dumb shit happens, and all these kids do for like fucking 90 minutes is just shit on each other, da 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 da. And then this nerd writes a fucking letter, and he's just like, "Oh, look at all this stuff we learned. We're like a fucking unit, and we're cool." And it's just like, "Oh, blah blah blah." And it's like, "Fuck off, man." It's like, you know what I didn't need? A fucking lesson. You know what I didn't need? Ferris Bueller's sister to save the fucking day. I just wanted Ferris to win. Why couldn't he just win on his own? Like the thing about Dazed and Confused is like the day ends. Fucking the freshman gets home, and his mom's like, you know what? You get out of jail one time, bro. You can have this one, and that's the victory. That's it. That's the lesson learned. Is that like sometimes like if you stay out all night and party and you get home safe, your parents will just let it slide. Who the fuck knows, man? Like,
Okay. I like
It's
it.
not like there's no morality. There's no like lesson about like, oh, we learned so much. Like, oh, Nikki Cat and like fucking Adam Goldberg don't like fucking like, you know, like they don't hug it out at the end. Like there's none of that shit. It's just like the day just moves on. We're going to get Aerosmith tickets. First priority is summer.
Yep.
And that to me is more being a fucking teenager and more actually living the life of a teenager day to day than the fucking Breakfast Club. I'm sorry, man. Like Dazed and Confused looked more like my graduation and felt more like my high school graduation than like any fucking like clown movie where it's just like, oh, I've got to make all these life decisions before college. It's like, no, man, you just went, got drunk, and then maybe the next day you went to Kings Island, and then like you tried to figure out the next day after that. Because that's what being a teenager is. That's what being like a fucking stoner is. That's what's being a fucking like, you know, like live life like the me generation, like growing up in the 1970s. That's what it was like without phones and without like always being da 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 da. It's like you just fucking lived your life and you just moved on and you didn't have to fucking learn anything and you didn't have to like fucking like moralize it and it was just beautiful. Like we just had a great day. Keep it moving.
That's fair. That's all
So
very fair.
fuck John Hughes.
I completely disagree with your feelings on John Hughes. I love John Hughes movies. His movies make me happy, but Days and Confused makes me happy also in a different way. So
Man, okay. The thing about John Hughes is like John Hughes let a parent leave their child behind twice. One time in Chicago at his home, and then one time in New York at a hotel. Like,
well,
you know what Richard Linklater would do? He would have Child Protective Services come in at some point and just be like, "This is what the movie is now because you don't fucked up." As opposed to like John Hughes is like, oh, we'll just hug it out, man. We all learned a valuable fucking lesson. John Candy showed up and everything's okay. Now we got Donald Trump. Awesome. But suck a dick, John Hughes.
oh man. All right. I guess we're never going to see eye to eye or agree on that concept. So that's fine. What I do also want to address about this movie, what I really think is cool, this just takes me so nostalgic back to just the concept of filmmaking and behind the scenes film stuff because while this film was being shot, Marissa Ribisi was dating Jason Lee. So Jason Lee was hanging out on the set for this movie a lot of the time, which means at the time that this was being made in like 92 ish or whatever, Jason Lee, Ben Affleck, and Joey Lauren Adams were all on a set together a couple of years before they all ended up getting cast in Mallrats, a couple of years before they all ended up being the three leads of Chasing Amy. And it really reminds me of like what a small world it was as far as independent filmmaking went at that point. Like a lot of the actors in this movie went on to do other independent films at that point, but like just how their paths all crossed in the independent film world is just something that I really think is really cool. Like just how small the what was it, Gramercy that did this? I think maybe I can't remember who the production company was, but then like working for Miramax and stuff like that, like I just really like hearing stories about how like Jason Lee was hanging out on set and like partying with these people and like I can't even imagine what the downtime would have been like on a set like this, like just a bunch of young actors all letting loose in Texas. They filmed it in Texas, I assume, right? Like, isn't that true?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Well,
thought. Yeah.
okay, like, man, I remember like one of the weirdest things I ever heard about this movie, and I'm not positive if it's true, but I think it is because it explains a lot of things about the movie, and it just kind of like explains like how things can just like flip on a dime, and
Okay.
it's basically like the Woodruff or not Woodruffson the Pickford character, um the guy with Mila Jovovich, right?
Oh, okay. Yep.
So apparently that guy had like a much larger role in the movie.
Okay.
But once they got to set, that guy was such a prick, and apparently like he shut down like the shooting for like a couple days because he took Mila Jovovich, who was like underage at the time, and like tried to go to like Las Vegas to get married, and may
Oh,
have at some point, right? If I
okay.
remember this story correctly. And so while this is happening, everybody in the movie like that's dealing with this guy is just like, man, this guy fucking sucks. Like, I don't, yeah, like this guy is just unreliable. He's a piece of shit. Like, and so basically, like the only person that likes him, I guess, is Mila Jovovich. They're like dating or whatever. Um,
Um,
and meanwhile, somebody who came in with like two lines in this movie, a guy by the name of Matthew McConaughey, is bowling everybody over, probably because he's never breaking character. breaking character. Uh, and he's just kind of like the coolest guy on set. And everybody's just like, man, we love this guy. And so they give him like something else to do. They give him something else to do. And like apparently toward the end of the movie, he was doing stuff that like originally like Pickford's character was supposed to be doing, but they were just like, nah, we fucking hate this guy. Like we and they basically like write him out of the movie, like about halfway through. Like he's
so he was
just he has like no lines like throughout the rest of the movie, and Matthew McConaughey just takes it over.
okay. So he was the guy that the beer showed up. The beer delivery showed up at his
Yeah,
house.
yeah, he was the
Yeah,
guy who
yeah,
was
yeah.
like fucking selling weed and just like being the fucking like scoundrel.
And that makes a lot of sense because that dude literally disappears in the second half of the movie. Like,
Yeah,
Ben Affleck has his moment where he's all of a sudden gone, but like that dude literally was just like gone from the movie.
they they literally cut him for just being kind of like an unprofessional dick, and
Interesting.
they were just kind of like, oh. And meanwhile, like on the opposite side of it, the guy who showed up to just be fucking cool actually got rewarded for being cool. It's fucking
Was
great,
Mila
great
Jovovich
story.
even at the party at the end of the movie? She was, wasn't she?
Yeah, they're all like she's still in it. She was like playing the guitar when Slater was like
Yeah, yeah,
talking,
yeah.
and he's still around. They just don't give him anything to do. They
Okay.
just kind of stand his ass in the corner.
Got it. Okay. That's pretty interesting. Wow. Man, that is interesting.
Oh,
Um,
I forgot talking about great performances in this movie
yeah,
earlier. I forgot to mention Carl. Uh,
Carl.
Mitch Kramer's blonde best friend, the guy who's like such a douchebag, like the eighth
Oh,
grader, who's like
okay.
he has the fucking line where he's just like, "That was our last eighth grade party. We're freshmen now. Where all the girls will be putting out." Like he's the guy whose mom pulls a shotgun on Ben Affleck.
Yep. Yep.
That kid fucking destroyed that movie. Like he was so good at being like the fucking clown friend. Oh,
Nice.
what a great kid.
Yeah. All right, man. As we're getting close to time to wrap this up, I want you to think about somebody who's never seen this movie before, and I want you to sell them on this movie about why you love it. Like, explain to somebody who's never seen it, what is it about Dazed and Confused that you love?
I like it because you've never seen it.
For the record, not me. I've seen it plenty of times. I've seen it with Troy at the Art Craft. Like I've
No,
I've
but
seen
you tell me you told me that
yes.
I'm selling somebody on it.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? Just stay there. Stay in your lane. Don't see it. I don't fucking care. Like I like it. I like it better because you haven't seen it. I like it better because you don't know what I'm talking about. Because if everybody knew what I was talking about, it wouldn't be fucking cool anymore. So like, just don't go out and see Days Confused, man. Go fuck yourself.
All right.
Go
So
watch like,
stop being the guy that got cut out of Dazed and Confused and come back and be Troy and tell me what you
no,
love about
seriously,
this
man.
movie.
Like, if you have like, if I have to sell you on why you should watch Days Confused, man, it's not for you. It's not fucking for you. You should go watch like the fucking Princess Diaries or whatever, man. Like, stay in your safe little Disney lane, watch your little fucking Encantos and whatever the fuck, and just like pray that it all goes away, man. If you haven't, if you don't already want to see Days Confused, if you haven't already seen Days Confused, it's not your bag.
Okay. Next
For real.
question. Next
Dog.
question. Hey
But you're
Troy,
missing out on the best movie of all time, and that's on you.
what makes Dazed and Confused the best movie of all time?
It's a fucking Ferrari when all these people are out here driving Fords.
Understandable. All right, man. As we're coming
Be
to
a
the
lot
end, do
cooler
you
than
have
you did.
anything that you want to say to wrap up the episode? I appreciate you being on here. I am glad we talked about this movie because this movie is a blast. I love everything about this movie. I love the journey that it takes you on. I love the open-endedness of it. I love the fact there's a bunch of storylines that don't get any resolution. And as we said, that's kind of real life. I think that was very smartly done by Richard Linklater to write things that way. What else would you like to say about the movie?
Okay, think about it this way, right? Fucking, we've been talking about this for like an hour and some change, right?
About an hour, almost.
About an hour. I don't even think we have mentioned half the people in this movie and things that they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you're not wrong.
it's so robust. It's
I
so
mean, half the cast, I don't know their names, so I didn't put them in the script because I didn't remember their names. Like, yes,
yeah, no, man.
I
Like,
missed at least half the cast.
I
I don't
refer
think I have
to
any of
every
the freshmen's names on here.
I refer to everybody in this movie either as their character name, what they are in the movie, or like Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? Like that's how I refer. Like Parker Posey's Parker Posey. Occasionally, I will call her Darla. But like, yeah, like Hirschfelder's Hirschfelder because I don't know who that fucking kid is. I never saw him again. But you know what I mean? Like, uh, it's a gift that keeps on giving. It is an endless well. It is like 50 fucking characters deep. It's basically like going to fucking high school. Um, you know just bits and pieces about everybody, and it leaves you to just kind of like decide what you like and decide who you're down with and who you want to ride for and who you fucking don't want to have anything to do with. And it's just great. It's got just a little bit of everything. It's got something for everybody. It's I don't know, man. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. I love that. And I love that we got to talk about it, dude. I appreciate your time today. It
Oh
was a
yeah.
great episode. It's always fun chatting with you. I'm glad we got to do a longer than a normal Troy Talks episode. So we got to have a good chat about a movie that I know you love and that I really enjoy too. And we will be back in 2 weeks talking to my buddy Sergio, and we're switching over to the horror genre. We're going to talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street with Sergio in 2 weeks. So
No, I love
we
that
will see
movie.
you then. Right. Bye.